I would now request our Vice President Administration, Shankar Sir, to address the gathering presently.
Respected Chancellor, respected Chief Guest Mr. Shivkumar Babu, respected guest of honor Inauguration, and dear Vice President, dear Vice Chancellor, Directors, and student welfare. Already we have an international society from a mechanical school, IEEE, and computer science Indian society. Today we are inaugurating civil society. I know you are very important people. Today, world, she will make a change of world. Very important, I know, I saw many buildings, for example, technology towers. Nowadays, without civil engineer, we cannot make a brand, building, everything. It is one of the important people from people like civil engineer. For example, I can show one video, more amazing building in around the world.
Bring me a
you can hear that.
Thank you, sir, for your fabulous presentation on civil engineering marvels. We will now have the presidential address, for which I request our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. G. Vishwanathan, sir, to address the gathering by saying a few words.
Our chief guest, Dr. Babu from the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Our guest of honor, Dr. Indumati from IIT Madras. Shankar Vishwanathan, Vice President. Dr. Narayanan, Pro-Vice Chancellor. Dr. Kanabran. Dr. Shanti, Director of the school. The organizers of this VIT student chapter of American Society of Civil Engineering, and my dear students, very good morning to you. I am happy that the students have taken the initiative to open this chapter in VIT today. I would like to congratulate all the teachers who are involved in this and also the student office bearers. Just now, Shankar showed us a video about the famous buildings of the world. From US to Iceland, small countries like Lithuania, Iceland also had wonderful buildings. I don't find any building in India. Probably they have not shown all the skyscrapers. The other day I was doing some research. I was writing an article on China and I was doing some research on skyscrapers. I found that in 100 years they have built 2,000 skyscrapers in New York. And in 10 years, Shanghai has overtaken New York, and they have constructed 4,000 skyscrapers in Shanghai city alone. I was going through India. I find we have skyscrapers only in Bombay, in Mumbai. And of course, to a limited extent. And other cities are almost nil, except one or two in other places. Anyway, that is one information I wanted to give you. The civil engineering is one of the basic engineerings of the world. But somehow, the fortune of civil engineering has been fluctuating. At one time it goes up, sometimes it comes down. And in fact, those colleges started along with us. Some of them closed down civil engineering because there was no takers for it for some years. When it came to that, I told our people that we cannot close down civil engineering. It's one of the basic engineering. We can cut down the strength, but yet we wanted to maintain it. I hope now it has become somewhat normal. In a growing economy, in a growing country, civil engineering is a very important subject because we concentrate so much on infrastructure, roads, bridges, airports. All of them have to be done by the civil engineers. Maybe we are very good in software engineering, but software engineers require a place to sit, and that has to be done by civil engineers. somehow we are lagging behind in construction activity. I have the opportunity to visit China 3-4 times a year. I always compare ourselves, the construction technology adopted in our country, with that of other countries, not only China, but other countries. But I find there is amazing progress in the construction technology. The way they complete the buildings, almost half of the time or even lesser than that, what we take in India. I want to this chapter to study these points. And of course, it is ultimately the entrepreneurs and the government have to put their heads together and see how this could be achieved in our country. Now, yesterday's document, I don't know how many of you are interested in it. Yesterday they have presented the economic survey for the last 1 year. It says we require $1 trillion, $1,000 billion for our infrastructure. Unless we are quite strong in civil engineering, how are we going to achieve it? Not only strong, but we should be updated. Somehow, we always feel that we are backward. It may be all right for asking your caste to be included in backward list, but not the country cannot be in the backward list. I want you to make this country a forward-looking country. If Shanghai can done it, why not Chennai, why not Bombay, why not Delhi, why not Calcutta, why not Trivandrum? We can do it. Our mindset has to change. I find in our governments, they allow only up to 5 floors or 10 floors. If you go beyond that, they say there is no permission. We are living 100 years behind the world. In China, they encourage you to go for tall buildings, skyscrapers, because they don't want you to occupy more land because of the population, huge population. We are in the same boat. Our population is 121 crores. Every day I find our fields are being occupied for housing purposes. We cannot blame that people ask for houses, they want to have own houses, nothing wrong in it. But the government should encourage more buildings to go tall. Skyscrapers must be built. Actually, they should encourage it, but instead they don't allow you. And if you want to build more than 10 floors, you have to give more bribe. Otherwise, you will not be allowed. This is the kind of rules we have. And I want the civil engineers to take it up as a society. The individual governments, the state governments, they are in charge. And the ministry, secretaries, they should become aware of this. And the importance of civil engineering should go up. If you are going to spend 1,000 billion, are we going to import civil engineers from Europe, America and other places? We have enough good students in our country. We are blessed with good teachers and good students. But we must make use of it and see that we compete with the rest of the world, and particularly those who are growing very fast. Take our airports. How many airports we have? Not even 1/3 of what China has. I have seen the railway stations. They are as good as our international airports. Now, we have to spend money. If it is not available within India, of course, we take it away from India and keep it outside the country. If that money can be brought within the country, we don't require any foreign direct investment. Our money itself is enough. But they will not come. We will give various reasons and keep it always outside the country. We must go in for foreign direct investment, and we must allow our civil engineers to compete with the rest of the world. And I want them to be trained well. The practical knowledge is not there for civil engineers. I don't see civil engineering students go to our own buildings and see how it is being constructed. They go on tour to find out how buildings are built in Ooty or Kodaikanal. I want them to see the buildings which are built in our own campus, in many areas, in many cities. I want you to acquire practical knowledge and find out what are the problems we face. And once you join a government, your responsibility goes up. Because we are always afraid of public buildings, like schools, colleges, bridges, dams. I don't know whether I should speak about it. I have vast experience politically also. And once we were constructing a dam in our own district at the far end of the other district, in the first flood, the dam was washed away. That's how we construct buildings. Not all, but at least a few of them. That is because people eat into the project money. Politician, official, contractor, if all of them take away, what will remain? Instead of cement, they will put mud. This cannot happen, and I want the civil engineers to be very strong and prevent such things happening in the government. That is one side. Many of them may not go to government side, but their help is very much necessary, because ultimately they are going to provide the best of infrastructure, building roads, all bridges, airports, etc. And it is time now that we learn from the experience of other countries. I am happy that we are starting this chapter, and I would like the members to acquire the knowledge of other countries. We have to learn from others' experience. Our own people have built many buildings. For example, the iron pillar in Delhi is more than 2000 years old. Have we analyzed it? And are we sure that we can produce such things now? Our Grand Anakat was built 1100 years ago. Still it is intact. Our modern buildings cannot be live for more than 40-50 years. We have to demolish and construct a new building. Why? When there was no cement, when there was no engineering, people have built. Tanjavur temple is more than 1000 years old, Bragadeshwara temple. I don't know how many of you had the opportunity to go and see it. Even now it is intact. When we had our own, so much knowledge was available, but we have lost it. There is no continuity. I want you to get it and find out how it was done and why we are lagging behind now. We have to learn from Americans, we have to learn from Chinese, Europeans, etc. There is nothing wrong in learning from others, but we must be on par in construction technology, in the way we use materials, building materials. There is so much innovation going on in building materials. And automation in construction technology. These are the certain things where we have to become updated. We are far, far behind the other countries. These are certain things I hope the interest will be created among our youngsters, and also we will invite the builders, professors, those who have practical knowledge and those who are dealing with other construction activities, so that this will become a vibrant society in the future. Thank you.
That was truly an inspiring speech for us. Thank you, sir. I would now like to call upon Dr. Kanna, Director Students Welfare, to give an introduction to our guest of honor, Dr. Indumati Nambi.
It's indeed a great honor and pleasure for me to introduce guest of honor, Dr. Indumati Nambi. She graduated in BE Civil Engineering, College of Engineering, India, Anna University, in 1991, and ME in 1993 in Center for Environmental Studies, Anna University, UK. And PhD in 1999, PhD in Civil Engineering and Environmental Engineering, Clarkson University, New York, USA. And she worked, she's got a lot of experience also. She worked in L&T 1993 to 1994 and also teaching assistant, research assistant at Clarkson University, New York, 1994 to 2000 and postdoctoral research associate at University of Illinois, USA from 2000 to 2003. And also she's worked as a consultant at the MS Swaminathan Research Foundation, Madras from 2004 to 2005. Currently she is working as an assistant professor, Division of Water Resources and Environmental Engineering, Department of Civil Engineering, IIT Madras from 2005 onwards. And her research interest is also very current. She deals with the current problems like water treatment, wastewater reuse, solid management, hazardous chemicals, risk assessment and management, groundwater contamination, and freight and transport, remediation, etc. etc. So now I request our guest of honor to deliver an address to the council.
Thank you, Professor Kannamira. I'd like to wish all of you good morning. The Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, Pro-Chancellor, or Vice President, I'm sorry. And we have the directors here. We have Chief Guest, Professor Shivkumar from IASCE. So good morning to all of you. And I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me here to this inaugural function. It's a very important event, particularly for the students, to start a chapter of this very reputed organization, American Society of Civil Engineers. I think I have been invited because I am also having some position in this ASCE, American Society of Civil Engineers, has a chapter, or you can't call it chapter, it is a sister institution of ASCE. It is called Environment and Water Resources Institute. Okay, so they always go together, ASCE, EWRI, that's how you call it. Okay, and very recently, 2 years ago, they started a South India chapter. First time they went into, it's a professional body, unlike student chapters of ASCE. It's a professional organization with both environmental and water resources people, okay, which can also have students as members because you're also going to be professionals in future. Okay. So recently the South India chapter, the first international chapter of EWRI was opened in IIT, and I am fortunate to be the president of that chapter. When we had this major international conference, this was also inaugurated. Okay. So that tells you a little brief story of how I got into this. And I'm very fortunate because I was telling some of your teachers, I come to Vellore every year, okay, and I pass by VIT also, every time wanting to come inside. But somehow, so it's like when you travel in the US, when you go from suburbs into a city, you can see it from far off that you are going nearing a city with all these skyscrapers, what the Chancellor was talking about. So every time when I go on this highway, suddenly you will see skyscrapers. VIT is here. That's how I know VIT, because everything else is much lower compared to the. So I always wanted to come here, and I'm very glad that I made it today. Thanks to Roshan, my former PhD scholar, and Brajesh of the Environmental Engineering program. So, and just before I talk about water and water resources, I would also tell the Chancellor that somehow there was an earlier link also between the Chancellor and myself. My father was in the Secretariat. He was a senior PA to Education Minister during your time, sir. And the Ponnasamy was the Education Minister during your minister review. So I was talking to my dad and I said, yes, he might recall me. You can talk to him about it. So there is a link, long-term link, right from my college days to where I am now. So I'm very glad that I have all these connections to you. And in future also I would like to continue this connection. Okay. So in this inaugural talk, I would like to just point out certain subtle things which many people often miss when we talk about civil engineering, yeah, we have to be very proud about what civil engineers have contributed. Okay, and everything is visible. The skyscrapers of the other countries and many other great projects which were done even in India. Okay, right from those ancient times to now. But often, I would like to mention this, that some small component of civil engineering, which is not, although it is small, it is not very, not less important than the other part of civil engineering, is water and environment, right? All of you who have gone through civil engineering program do take courses in water and environment. You all think water is a small subset of civil engineering. Most often it's forgotten long before you graduate, okay? But I would like you to continue, at least those who get some interest. Many times students get interested, but then they're put into civil engineering or even IT, so they just completely forget about it, okay? So this water and environment topics, what you're learning in your civil engineering program, may be a small set when you're looking at civil engineering, but when you look out beyond, when you graduate and you go into the world, okay, you find that water is not a small subset. What you were exposed to can put you or leapfrog you into a much larger world out there. You know, every day you hear something about water. Water quality, water quantity is not sufficient, okay, and everywhere you have a role to play. Okay, beyond building buildings and large structures, those of you who are interested in water and environmental issues have a much brighter future, both nationally and internationally. Okay, and coming from an environmental engineering background, I would also like to stress that we are an essential part of the community. Any other engineering branch, okay, they don't think beyond a certain point. If you look at electrical engineers or mechanical engineers or even IT, metallurgy, everybody thinks about developing a product, right? Inventing a new product, improvising an existing product. But what happens beyond that? Once a product is developed, nobody thinks about it, right? It ultimately becomes the environmental engineer's job. They clean up, they create a lot of mess, these engineers, and finally it becomes the job of the environmental engineer to clean up the mess and bring back good water for the same engineers to reuse, okay? So it's a very important job we have ahead of us as environmental engineers. So I would like to urge all of you to look at it as a very prospective field. It's a rapidly developing field. Many multinational companies are coming to India and setting their base. Environmental companies, water-based companies. Okay, water is the future. You must have talked about water wars. They say the next third world war will be based on water. Okay, maybe quality or quantity. Very close to Vellore. Vellore is famous for many things, right? What are the things Vellore is famous for? VIT, yes. Anything else? CMC. Then? Golden Temple. I knew these three will be on your list. Anything else comes to your mind? Tanneries. Good. I think you got the hint of what I'm trying to say. But it's not the tanneries which actually made Vellore famous. Or maybe I should not use the word famous. Okay. Vellore is known internationally as a place with the second largest contaminated site. Vellore has the second world's largest contaminated site. Do you know where it is? Yeah, Vaniyampadi. It's actually not because of the tanneries. It may did come from the tannery effluent, but the chromium, basically the chromate, Tamil Nadu chromate industry set up a plant to supply chromium to the tanneries. Okay, and this plant started producing a huge sludge, okay, which has all this hexavalent chromium +6 oxidation state, which is the most toxic state of chromium. Okay, and we have come here and done investigations on this site. If you take groundwater from the site or anywhere, even several kilometers radius, the groundwater is like orange juice. Okay, it's very close. You can just go and try, take a water from the well, water sample from a well. Okay, so it's a huge problem which we are still struggling to solve. Okay, and most of these problems are below the ground. So many people don't care much about it. Okay, unless some major tragedy happens in terms of health. Okay, so we do a great job, but most of it is not seen like our other civil engineering structures. Okay, so your service is needed for the country. Okay, to supply good quality of water, clean up all the mess what other people have been doing, to put back fresh water. Otherwise, where are we going to go if we're just going to keep polluting the water bodies continuously? Okay, so keep that in mind. That's a small message I want to send across. And EWRI chapter in Chennai, again we are going to make it a student-centric chapter, like what initiative VIT has done, so that we will sustain it much longer. Okay? And I know students have that strength and energy to make things happen in a very nice way, okay, and sustain it forever with new students coming in every year. So we would welcome you to any of the workshops. We conduct workshops in the EWRI chapter. We have a lot of discussions, bringing in experts from all over the country and abroad. Every year there is this EWRI International Conference. Okay, they organize it. Every IIT, they chose IIT Delhi the first time. 3 years later they came back to IIT Madras. Maybe we can have a suggestion to them to take that conference to VIT. With your infrastructure here, I am very amazed to see the infrastructure here. So we could recommend them to have another international conference in India with VIT as the co-host, and that will be a good exposure. You can get internationally exposed to what's going on in the water and environmental area. Okay, with that I would like to conclude, and I'll see you in the afternoon for my invited talk. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful words. I would now request our Vice President Administration, Shankar sir, to kindly give the memento to our guest of honor. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Moving on further, I now request Dr. A. Shanti, our Director SMBS, to give an introduction to our chief guest, Dr. G.L. Sivakumar Babu.
Honorable Chancellor, respected Chief Guest and Guest of Honor, respected Vice President, Pro Vice Chancellor, dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, organizers and my dear student friends, good afternoon one and all. Professor G.L. Sivakumar Babu completed PhD in Geotechnical Engineering in 1991 from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, India. After Master's degree in Soil Mechanics and Foundation Engineering in 1987 from Anna University, Madras, and BTech in Civil Engineering in 1983 from Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupati. He worked in Central Road Research Institute and International Airports Authority of India, New Delhi. He joined Indian Institute of Science in 1997, and his teaching and research activities include courses on geomechanics, soil investigations, risk and reliability applications in civil engineering, pavement engineering, geosynthetics, ground improvement and environmental geotechnology. He worked as Humboldt Fellow and visiting scientist in Germany during June 1999 to July 2000, and as visiting scholar Purdue University, USA during 95 to 96. He also visited Japan, Thailand, Finland, Italy, Norway, France, Austria and Singapore for technical collaborations and conferences. He is presently the Secretary, International Technical Committee on Forensic Geotechnical Engineering of International Society for Soil Mechanics and Geotechnical Engineering, and was a member in International Technical Committee on Risk Assessment in Geotechnical Engineering during 97 to 2000, 2001 to 2005. He is the Editor-in-Chief, Indian Geotechnical Journal, and is editorial board member of several international journals. He is a Fellow of Institution of Engineers India, Fellow of Indian Geotechnical Society, Fellow of Association of Consulting Engineers, Member of American Society of Civil Engineers, Member of International Geosynthetic Society, and Member of Indian Roads Congress. He received several awards for his work, such as Best PhD thesis in Geotechnical Engineering in India from Indian Geotechnical Society, Humboldt Fellowship from Germany, DST Boy Scout Fellowship, Young Engineer from Central Board of Irrigation and Power, New Delhi, and a few awards for the best papers from Indian Geotechnical Society. With this, may I request you, sir, to address the esteemed gathering.
Thank you, Dr. Shanti, for the long introduction. At the outset, Dr. G. Viswanathan, the Chancellor of the University, Mr. Shankar, then Mr. Sampath, Vice President Operations, Dr. Narayanan, then Dr. Guest of Honor, Dr. Indumati Nandi, and Dr. Kannaviran. And I'm very happy to be here today at the inaugural function of the student chapter of the American Society of Civil Engineers. You're all aware that the ASCE is one of the earliest, I think the first body in 1852 started with that. After the World War ended and all these things, particularly in the US, when things they have stabilized, they started this ASCE in 1852, which is, I think, it speaks of its tradition. And they have been, you have only one, civil engineering or military engineering. There are only two things. So they felt that you need to create a lot of facilities for public good, and so that's why with those aims, they had this ASCE started, and it has been a leading organization. In fact, many of us are associated with ASCE, where we publish number of papers and number of things. It is such an inspiring organization. The way they professionally, it is done, I was amazed. In fact, I was in touch with this international advisory group there. You have a membership of about 1.4 lakh people, and it is being maintained, every day by 300 faculty people every day working. But you take any association in India, you have a big association, but there are 2 retired persons working for it. I mean, here the knowledge is so much, they're so much keen on trying to see that the profession interests are taken care, and people, essentially, they even brought out what is called a vision document, what a civil engineer should do, what should be the ethics, what a civil engineer should follow in the field. Like, the thing is, as just pointed out by our Chancellor, we have a vast scope in interacting with, public at large. Essentially, a civil mechanical engineer may be happy with his mission, or a biologist will be happy with what he develops or something. But it's the civil engineer who has to interact and look at how, he has to look at how people take it, how it is accepted, how does it serve the purpose. Say, for example, if you're constructing a dam, as he was mentioning, if it is washed out in the first flood itself, I think it's a shame. The thing is, so much money is lost. So the objective is that the civil engineering model has to be very high, and you need to be a leader. In fact, I was actually in my presentation, I'll show you. They want you to be leaders of tomorrow, not. So that is very inspiring. Actually, see, the thing is, and then public communication. In fact, I was seeing that many of the civil engineers can't convince. This is one drawback that I see in many of the engineering people as such, and civil engineering people are silent workers. Because we know that, like I'll show you in my presentation, so for example, you have Professor Sridhar, who did Metro Man, who had a distributed service of 50 years, 56 years now, and everybody wants him his services. But I don't know who has recognized him. He deserves a Bharat Ratna actually. Whereas we are asking for somebody like, somebody else, So this is very strange. So you need to be proud of what professional needs are and what you can do. The other question that I had, I was talking to some of my friends, just while coming here. Computer price was very high in the olden days. Now it's coming down. Anything you take, it comes down. And then it's like all cost-cutting things are there. But the civil engineering construction is always up. Whether it's not because of market forces or whatever. It's because of the availability of resources. And what we should do is that. See, I was also trying to say one thing that, at the beginning a civil engineer may get less salary, but after 5 years, you will see an electronics graduate and a civil engineer. I know that there is a big demand for a BTech or MTech civil with 5 to 6 years of experience. No, he would have acquired so much knowledge. He would have the public speaking. There are many skills that he would acquire, man management skills and all that, and it is such an amazing thing. So people are in short supply, and the kind of money that is involved now, like 1 trillion. A lot of money is involved. So when there is so much money involved, definitely you should get a good salary, right? Definitely the future is yours. We are also fortunate we are not that good. So still, I think future is also a part of us. So I am very delighted that we have this chapter opening today. And another couple of points that I would like to mention that it was about 8 months back, the ASCE called me. Like, of course, we have a couple of groups working individually, like they have been doing well. It's like the ASCE has number of specializations in civil engineering, like transportation, geotechnical, structural engineering, so they have institutes, like in geotechnical we have a geo institute. In environmental engineering and water supply, they have another institute. Like that, you have a number of technical bodies that are really helping the cause of ASCE. So they all come under the umbrella of ASCE. And when the ASCE has been, as I say, it's at 4. You have so many journals. In fact, if you look at it, about 15 journals are there in ASCE, which I think is one of the highest. Like the equally competent body is Institution of Civil Engineers UK. But I find that the professionals, the professional attitude with which the ASCE works is amazing. Like I said, 300 people man everyday the operations of knowledge transfer. Like if you're a member of ASCE, you get every day a mail. It alerts you what is happening. Then particularly all of your student members, it's free for you. But then you need to have even mentors also. That's what I was requesting all the faculty to be members of ASCE, because the advantages of that, you can get books for about 30 to 40% discount, and they're all state-of-the-art books. The thing is, then you can attend. Actually, my university, I've been attending every year an ASCE conference. Actually, next week again I'm going to an ASCE conference. So it's a very, very rewarding experience to see how students are. Actually, if you go to an ASCE conference, they have a separate section for students, like bridge design competition, something like that. So you have something very motivating thing, and they are the leaders of tomorrow. In fact, I sent paper to my friend Vijesh on, there is an ASCE paper on student activities. See how you can transform yourself as leaders. See, leadership, somebody are born leaders, but you can transform yourself into a good leader. And somebody may be in, for example, they don't know what to do. Best is to have a positive attitude, take very good activities, professional activities, grow with the profession and work, and it will be a rewarding experience. And ASCE student chapter member being that is a first step. So you have number of advantages like this, and I'm sure that actually I will give you some vision of ASCE national in my lecture, whatever, after this. And what I want to say is that when ASCE wanted me, then I took over recently only. And after that, we conducted so many activities. Actually, ASCE chapter is in Calcutta. Actually, there is some body, but then they are a little dormant. Then I said, this is not the way to be, active. You have to be quite active, because you have so many people, like you. I have so many mails from colleagues. Amazing. Actually, I must, he has been very pushy on this. Actually, I was wondering, first time when he gave me mail, actually, for the job first notice to study well, why is he giving so many mails? But then after that, actually, I looked at, I think this is what persistence pays, and that's how you're here. I must really congratulate him and all of his friends to see that this has become a reality today. And so I feel that, like I was discussing, under the umbrella of ASCE, we can have conferences. Actually, last week I had a conference on the pollution control barriers in Bangalore, Institute of Science. And we also have opened a student chapter in IISc Bangalore. We also opened a student chapter in IIT Hyderabad. And this is the third one. So I think it goes to you. So, there are a lot of requests and a lot of interest, but actually what I like was the support that your faculty is giving. It it's like your faculty should give enough support, and your management should give enough support. And I know that this is one of the best places, as the guest of honor said. You can have wonderful conferences here. Sometimes it's very difficult to have some conferences in Bangalore and Chennai, but with the kind of infrastructure you have here, it's going to be wonderful, and it's a win-win situation to everybody. Yeah. Before I conclude, I just wanted to have a personal connection. I studied my undergrad and everything under education in Chittoor, which is a very about half an hour journey or 1 hour journey from here. And it was always fascinating to come here, so for the 3 reasons mentioned. But definitely I didn't want to come for a CMC hospital, right? Then the second reason is, I just saw this the Golden Chair, when I was going to Tirumana, I just took a diversion and saw that. That was also again wonderful. So even when I joined in Tirupati, I know only VIT. If you want to see, the thing is, it's also a very small college, engineering college, but it's a very good college. But if I want a boy from Chittoor wants to look at where do you get a job, look at you want to come to Chennai or you want to Tirupati, but Velugu is nice. So, but I could come. Now this is I could make today, and I must thank all of you for giving an opportunity. I mean, particularly our chancellor. Actually, I heard of him, but he was truly inspirational. I know that why I see this, and it is simulating is one thing, but the people. The way he marked the growth of everything is, everything is because of him. I mean, that's what people say. And I heard that it was amazing experience, first hand listening to him and interacting with all of you. Thank you very much.
That was truly an enlightening and compelling speech. Thank you, sir. I now request our Chancellor to present a memento to our Honorable Chief Guest. Rightly said, if we touch a stone, we touch the past. If we touch a flower, we touch the present. But if we touch a student, we touch the future. It gives us immense pleasure to honor the dedicated civil engineers who worked day and night and finally succeeded in the prestigious Civil Engineering Fest of IIT Madras and took the name of our university to new horizons. They participated in several events like RoboConstruct, road design, debate, online CAD, etc. and outcasted several of the experienced participants by winning the top positions. We still wonder how would a student who is still studying the basics of civil engineering could participate in events that are based on subjects that are technically taught in the final years of a curriculum. This could not have been possible without the able guidance of our civil faculties, especially Roshan sir and Ashokan sir. This effort surely deserves to be honored. And to present the token of honor, I would like to call upon our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Narayan, to felicitate the students. I request the students to kindly come up on stage and collect the token in the following order. Nidhish Katyal, Aksha Sharma, Sangeeta, and Astha. And Chirag. I now request our Chancellor to present the token to the following students. Deepak Desai, Deepak Mittal, Nikhil, Shreya, and Deepen. I now request our Honorable Chief Guest to give the token to the following students. Prashant Kumar, Madhav, Akshat, Yash, Utkarsh Malwa, Abhishek, Vikas and Pallavi Mittal. I now call upon Shobhik Bhattacharya, Vice President ASCE VIT, to present the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Ayush. Good afternoon to one and all. Bookish knowledge is a waste unless applied practically. Well, the quote says it all. American Society of Civil Engineers is a name to be acknowledged with on the global scale. ASCE has set its standards when it comes to its events, imparting knowledge to enhance the skill of its members. This is what we try to achieve in ASCE VIT student chapter. We, the civil engineers, will look to work towards this goal with a commitment and dedication and a belief that we can achieve this goal in a day very soon, and ASCE VIT will be a name to be acknowledged with worldwide. I, on behalf of ASCE VIT, would like to extend our grateful thanks to our Honorable Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, Vice President and Pro-Vice Chancellor for their encouragement and valuable suggestions. I also express my sincere thanks to our esteemed Chief Guest, Dr. G.S. Shivakumar, and Guest of Honor, Dr. Indumati Nambi, for taking time of their busy schedule and address us. I would also like to take this opportunity to extend our warm thanks to Dr. A.S. Santi, Director SABS, and Dr. K. Kannabiran, Director Students Welfare, for their constant support and kindness. I'd also like to thank our Program Manager, Dr. Amit Mahindrakar, and our Faculty Coordinator, Dr. Brijesh Nair, and all the faculties of Civil Engineering for their guidance, support, and unwavering faith in us. I also take this opportunity to thank PRO and estates for their cooperation. Last but not the least, a sincere thanks to all my friends for their presence, attention, and participation. I humbly request the audience to please be seated while we escort our guests. Thank you.